Hello, it's Ron back here on Ron Brown's YouTube channel where we discuss a lot of drone and drone-related gear and tech. We do a lot more of the drones nowadays too, but this is a drone video today. What I have here is a comparison between the Avata 1 and the Avata 2. The Avata 2 just released recently, and I planned on this video being like, kind of comparing the drones on the tabletop here, talk about some of the specs and things like that, and then taking out to the field and doing a, video comparison, flight and video comparison between the two drones to see the differences. But that's going to be too long of a video, so I'm going to break it down in a couple parts here. So today will just be the, the desktop discussion. We will be flying drones side by side in a future video. So, okay, the Avata 1 here, it came out in the summer of 2022 in around August, September, and came out to great fanfare. It was a a favorite of many people's. Much improved on the first DJI FPV drone, the FPV drone that had a pretty camera nobody really liked them. With this came with a much better camera, but we'll get to that. It wasn't the best either. This is what you call a Cinewhoop rather than say a freestyle type drone. So it's meant to record video. It has the built-in ducts to help it bounce off of walls, trees, whatever it may kind of bump into. And it has a unusual design where the propellers are kind of like mounted backwards on the bottom. That makes more sense to the FPV guys, which I'm not. So it has this gimbal guard here is something I put on at the Starter IC project. Did not come with the drone, but it has you can see the camera here has like a gimbal on there. It's like a one-axis gimbal on here. It relies on image stabilization to stabilize the video otherwise. And it came. I'll show the gimbal guard later on, but the gimbal guard it's pretty easy to put on here. As far as gimbal guards go. You heard it snap in there. So, it's not a bad, I know some people are going, why is he talking about gimbal guards? But people make a big deal about gimbal guards in videos. I always mention it. Now, I had third-party props on here. These props are by Master Airskers. They're not the original 5-blade props that came with the drone. I do not have them close by. I should have got them for the video, but they're 5-bladed. A lot of people thought that a lot of Avatas fell out of the air when they first came out. A lot of people blamed the 5-bladed props that they blew up and so on. They had issues with them, so everybody said to advise me to replace them with Master Airskers, which I did. Now I'm neither confirming or denying that the 5-bladed props had issues or whatever. I didn't have any issues with mine. I just did it because everybody else in the drone world told me to do it or whatever. So so you make that decision for yourself. Now it came with a removable battery in the back here. Without the battery, it's almost like an empty cage design here rather than traditional drone design. And of course it has the cameras on the bottom there and it has the 2 landing feet right here. Now the battery is it's a smart battery, don't get me wrong, but it looks like an old school battery because it looks like it has a connector here from a kind of like an old school battery, but it is a smart battery. It discharges, it's not dangerous and whatever. It's got the little button here where you can see the charge you got on it, so it's on a storage charge now. But the thing is, it connects back here, and it's hard to get that. I should say hard, but it's not easy to get that the thing plugged in and out there when you want to put the battery in or take it out or whatever. It's certainly not as easy as pulling the batteries out of other drones, but yet when people had accidents, like crashes, when they hit the drone, the battery would go flying out. Many people have lost their drone. There was a whole third-party marketplace of putting things on the back here to prevent the battery from ejecting here. So that was an issue. And once the battery ejects, all the Find My Drone features in the app do not work, of course, anymore. So that's the Avata 1. The Avata 2 here, is I'm going to show you right here, is a much it's wider design, not much wider design, but it's not as top heavy in the middle. This doesn't go up as much. It's more streamlined, and a lot of people say that it won't be as easy to hit the gaps because it's it's wider, and I guess that's some truth to that. But the advantages of it is that the drone is to me, my opinion only here, it flies much better than the first one, even though the specs don't say it's any faster, but it seems to fly better in the wind, handle better in the wind. Just overall flight characteristics to me are much improved. I really enjoy flying this. For this one, I enjoy flying it, but this one I really enjoy flying it. These are the standard props, the 3-blade props that come with it. And the motors are, you see, they're top mounted rather than mounted on the bottom for the first drone. And the battery is purely self-contained here. It doesn't, it's not a skeleton. It just goes in the back, kind of like most of the the camera drones. Whether this is going to pop out on crashes, I haven't seen any reports of it yet, but it's early days, of course, so we'll see going down the road. Now this has these 2 downward facing sensors there, but this adds it looks like the obstacle avoidance sensors from the camera drones in the back there. Now, nobody has really figured out exactly what those 2 sensors are doing back there, what they're for, but I guess we'll discover more as more people fly the drone and make discoveries. And the gimbal guard here, similar to the other one, it's pretty easy to get on and off. DJI seems to be doing a better job with these gimbal guards. They used to have take an online course to get them on and off. But again, I regress here. People are real interested in gimbal guards on YouTube, so that's why I do mention them here. So let me take that gimbal guard off. You can see the camera. Looks bigger on there, and it is a bigger size sensor here. The camera is much improved on the 2 from the 1. I mean, it's like night and day difference. This one had struggled with the dynamic range, where this one is much better on the quality. With a DJI Action 4 camera, whatever, that type of quality. Better low light and everything like that. So that's the drones here. So let me put the drones to the side. For the thing here. Let's go to another big thing here. This is the Motion 3. This is the new motion control that comes, with the Avata 2. And this is the Motion 2, which kind of came with the Avata 1, or at least it came with I had got the Adventure combo, and it came with that. Maybe the early ones of the Avata 1 came with the Motion 1. But anyhow, this is the 3rd generation. This is Motion 2 beside it. So you can see the Motion 3 has shrunk greatly here, and a lot of the buttons, it kind of got the same buttons on, but they're in different configurations there. Now the joystick first appeared on the Motion 2. The Motion 1 did not have it. And what's new here, this had a different type of scroll. This has a scroll wheel here that you can control your gimbal with and do some other things. For this one, this wheel is positioned differently and has a button on. But this, I think you could push in too. So and here, these buttons are the video stop and start button. These ones with the orange tip on them. So it's like a redesign, and here's the on off buttons on the side here. But so everything's kind of redesigned, but it's got all the same buttons. They may just look different or be in a different location or be a different type of wheel, whether this is an internal wheel or a external wheel, I'll call it. The one big difference here is the Motion 2 was a big advance because you could go backwards. With the Motion 1, you could not go backwards. It did not have this piece up here to go backwards. Where this has, the backwards piece, but this also has, this just goes right in. But this has a click. It goes a little bit and stops, and then you push it all the way. And what that does for you is when you, first, among many things it does, when you first take off the drone, with this one, if you moved this or sat this down, the drone would go wild because once you took off, you was using motion all the time. Where this does not kick in until you press that past that stop point. Otherwise the drone will just hover for you until you press in, and then you have full control. So you could, before you push this, you could lay this down or move it around. It won't affect the drone, but it would on this one. So a nice upgrade by DJI on that. And this is smaller, lighter. I find it, I didn't find it as uncomfortable in hand, but this one's, I'm not going to say it's more comfortable, less comfortable, but it's not uncomfortable being smaller. It definitely is lighter, easy to hold, lighter. So I do prefer the new, Motion 3, but the Motion 2, was fine also, but Motion 3 is a little bit better. Not a, not a tremendous upgrade, but it is a nice upgrade. Just that little feature alone I showed you there is worth the price of admission. So, okay, let's see. Okay, we have the goggles here. Now this, the Avata 1 first came out with they called the goggles 2. I did not buy it initially. I purchased it after it had been out about a year, and at that point they had the Adventure combo, which came with the Integra goggles, and the Integra goggles had the advantage of having the battery built into the head strap here, and the head strap was adjustable with this little knob back there. And I say advantage of people like me, but some people, more hardcore guys that like to fly pack after pack, they didn't like that because you could not replace the battery. Or if you had like the older goggles too, you could you could just keep plugging in external batteries. Of course, those batteries you had to put them in your, coat pocket, pants pocket with a cord hanging down the side of you. It didn't attach in a neat setup like this. And also, these goggles had a GPS chip built into them, so you did not have to connect your phone to, like the goggles too, to get your, your GPS location, so you would be good for remote ID. So once they did the update for the Avata 1 and added the remote ID, you had to have a phone connected to fly because of the remote ID. So, and that also kind of another wire kind of dangling down. So this kind of cleaned everything up as far as that. Had, battery built in, GPS built in, so you didn't have to do nothing, had to dangle off. And these things, they had, I don't have to show you here. They had diopters that you put inside here. You open this up, put diopters in. So it came with a set of diopters, and as long as you knew what you wore as far as your glasses, as long as you knew your prescription, you would just put that one in. And to me, it worked fine. I could see great once I put the diopter in and matched my prescription. I could see better than with my glasses on. But the disadvantage of that would be, like, if you hand the goggles to somebody else, they were locked into whatever diopter you put in there. It wasn't adjustable like it was in the goggles too, where they could just you could just adjust on the fly. But of course, you didn't have to worry about ever getting unadjusted in this because, again, it was locked in by what diopter you put inside there. Of course, you had these things here that move, you're closer away from your pupils, depending on how you were. And of course, you had the flip-up antennas here. I thought these were great goggles. I'm not really a goggle guy before. My first pair of probably really good goggles. I had, kind of some, cheaper analog goggles before. But, I was really happy with these goggles. But moving on to the goggles 3. So the goggles 3, similar to the goggles Integra here. The design looks a little, similar. These feel like a little bit heavier, and some big changes here. The one everybody talks about is they have these 2 cameras up front here, which give you kind of a I think they have a name for it, almost like a 3D thing where you can tap it on the side and you can see through these, so you can still see a little window with the drone seeing, the Avata 2 in this instance. And but you can still see other things. Now, a lot of people complain because it's not a very wide field of view which coming out here. It's a very tight field of view. So, that's bad if you want to see everything that's around you. But if you want to see something in front of you, like you're trying to, put a battery in the drone or change some camera settings or whatever, then it's good because it's right in front of you. So it's good or bad. People don't mention that enough. And also, this came with These have adjustable diopters down there. You do not have to put a diopter in like in the other ones. So you just adjust down there. Nice thing about these is it shows you the adjustments on the screen, so you know exactly what setting you're on. So it works great. This worked great on the the other ones. This works great here. But I guess some people prefer this because again, you can hand somebody else and they can adjust them. So, but it's all good. And this is what's new in this model here. This did not have this piece up here. This is a like a headrest. This is a piece of like a foam back there. It rests against your forehead. It takes all the pressure off your nose, your cheekbones, and whatever that you got on this one. And this one has like a rubber, soft rubber piece around here, which worked for some people. It fit my face great, but again, everybody's nose, cheekbones, every face is different. Just because it fit mine doesn't mean it's good. I just got lucky on that. But this has, only just like a, that's like a, I don't know, like a, what do you call it? Like a real thin piece of plastic, because you don't need it, because this absorbs all the pressure, and it works great. I mean, like when you get this on, and this even moves a little bit, so you get this on and then you adjust it down. I mean, it fits perfectly. I didn't see any light leak. It's comfortable. It's a great design. I love it. And it's the same thing. It has a built-in battery. It feels a little bit heavier than the one here, so maybe they put a stronger battery in, or maybe it just weighs more. So, and again, you adjust this piece to loosen or tighten it on your head. So, yeah, they did a great job with these goggles. These are the vents up here for heating. I haven't seen any overheating issues yet. Of course, it's not summertime yet. And all the other stuff here, like the antennas and these buttons here, this 5D joystick, this back button, the power button, the USB-C cable are exactly the same. That's on the Integras. So they borrowed a lot of the design elements from the Integra, and then some from the goggles too also. So this is kind of a hybrid. It's the best of both. The best of the goggles Integra and the goggles too. And you can the vision out of that. I mean, I see like perfectly out of these things. I mean, it's it's incredible. Again, almost like I said here, but even more so here, I see better out of these when I get adjusted than I do my, out of my glasses or whatever. So that's a good thing, right? So one other quick note I forgot to mention before. Some people talk about this where they say that they don't think the plastic on this is as solid as the plastic on the Avata one. It just feels a little bit more plasticky. People use that word all the time. I mean, I guess this does feel a little, the cage feels a little more like it's more solid plastic. I could see that a little bit, but I don't know if it's night and day. I mean, we'll find out when people start crashing, see how much damage they do this. They say this one doesn't look as repairable as the first one. So just as a couple opinions from the peanut gallery out there. I don't have any. I never really crashed either one of them so far. So, but just keep a note of that. Some people think this one's more of a sturdier frame. And let's go to the batteries here. Now, this came with this thin, kind of strip the recharge batteries. You can charge 4 batteries here by taking your battery and plugging it in, like that. And then it has a USB-C cable at the end. You get a power brick. Neither of these drones come with a power brick. You have to provide your own power brick. I'd recommend at least like a 65-watt charger for these. Anything less could take forever. Now, this one is you get 3 batteries. I got 2 and one's in the drone. So this is more like the hub that looks like it came from like the Mavic 3 hub, like a thin version of the Mavic 3 hub, and the battery here is is thinner than the battery from the Avata one, but this is longer too, so I don't know if it's any different. This feels a little bit heavier. I think this actually, I'm not a spec guy, this actually sounds like it has some more power from the specs. But this one here, you get about 5 minutes worth of flight time with this in the Avata 2 than you did the Avata 1, and what feels like a lighter battery, which I guess a lot of that's a gain from the Avata 2 being a lighter drone by 300 grams maybe than the Avata 1. And maybe just advanced technology giving you the extra 5 minutes of flight. But, okay, and this comes again, this charging hub. You plug a USB-C style connector in there. Again, you have to provide your own power plug. This has that feature that the Air 3 has. It. You can put all 3 batteries in there that have all been flown, and it'll consolidate all the power from the 2 lesser charged batteries and put it on the battery. It still has the most remaining, so you possibly can get another flight out of your drone just by using the energy from the 2 of the 3 batteries and combining 1-to-1 battery. Hope I explained that well. And you can also use it as a charging port too. So if you need to charge your phone up in the field or something like that, you can plug that in there and get some charge out of that too. So and now my friend Billy Kyle, he was saying on Drone Nation one night that he actually liked this better because number one, you could charge 4 batteries versus 3, and plus when you had you get this gun flying and your drone battery's hot, you put this thing in, it doesn't let it dissipate the heat or whatever. We're sitting out here, the batteries won't heat up as much, especially if the battery was, just got flowing. So, more airflow in this one than this one. So, something to keep in mind. But I think generally most people are going to prefer, this style over this one. I mean, it's maybe a bit easy to pack here, depending on what case you have. So either, I mean, that's neither here or there, since they don't provide this style of charger for this battery. If you got this drone, this is the charger you have. So yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell here. I think we kind of covered a lot of the basics. A lot of the specs you just look up in line. I didn't want to bore you with me reading a bunch of specs off. So the next phase of this comparison will be taking the drone, both drones out to the field and doing a little test flight with each one. And I don't know if I really need to, show you too much on that, Avata 1 you've probably seen. If you're interested at all, you probably saw hundreds of flights with it already, but I just want to do mostly a side-by-side video comparison to show you the differences between what I think is a much improved camera on the Avata 2, especially in the dynamic range department, than on the Avata 1. And what I mean by that is, say when you're flying, if the sun's completely above you in the air, say it's high noon, it's not important. But if you're flying at the edges of the day, even if you're flying an hour or two before sunset, when you fly one direction, you're going to have a lot of exposure coming in the camera lens. And what that's good, on the Avata 1, what that did, it kind of blew the highlights out when you were flying anywhere towards the sun. When you flew the Avata 1 the other direction away from the sun, you were crushing the shadows, so it just could not pick up the differences in exposure. Where this, I've tested it already. It handles the highlights much better when flying, towards the sun or the exposure, and it doesn't, crush the shadows, completely when you're flying away from it or whatever. I mean, the more extreme, conditions, the tougher it is. Like if you're flying, right at the moment of sunset, I'm not saying that, but if you're flying when it's still ample light out here, you won't crush the shadows too bad, and you won't blow the highlights out, too bad on this. Where this one, it's a struggle, to manage that, in post if you're trying to correct it. And this filmed in 4K 60 and it shot 10-bit descent light color that you edit in post processing. But this shoots in a full D-Log M color profile, as well as a normal color profile and 10-bit color D-Log. So much more powerful to add it at the end. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this comparison between the Avata 1 and Avata 2, and I will leave links down below if you'd like to purchase any of these drones I just showed you here. I do get I'm an Amazon affiliate. I do get a small commission off anything you purchase off. I think it helps the channel because I don't like charge for the channel in any way. So these links, or I also drop a buy me a coffee thing where you can throw me a couple shekels down there too, or whatever, because they don't charge for my content in any other way. So please, help me out if you can. Even if you buy something on Amazon, if you use my link to go in here and you buy something else, I get a commission off that too. So thank you. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so it gets out to more YouTube viewers rather than just my subs. Don't forget to ring that bell, so you'll know when I put another video up, especially if you're thinking about buying the Avata 2. I'm going to have a lot of content coming up on that. And subscribe. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already a member. That also helps me, get more, more people see my videos on YouTube if I have more subscribers. So so that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed, today was the Avata day. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next video.